Hello, welcome to another edition of DBE News. You can catch this bulletin every Friday at 12 o'clock on the DBE TV channel 122 if you have an OpenView decoder, or Breaks TV channel 509 at 4:30 in the afternoon if you are a StarSat subscriber, or watch it on the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel. Please do share the link with your friends, family and anyone in your circles. My name is Tsegohatso Moagi. The leading stories this week. The Ministers of Health and Basic Education briefed the media on issues relating to the social cluster. Phase 2 of the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative in the basic education sector has been hailed as a success. We find out more from various stakeholders. Gauteng Education MEC Banyazali Sufi engaged parents from Hoërskool Jan Viljoen in a bid to bring calm to the school. The Mpumalanga province mourns the death of 9 learners who were killed in a car accident. Remember to get in touch with us on our social media platforms, on Twitter at DBE_SA and at DBE TV News, Facebook DBE SA, Instagram DBE SA. You can use the hashtag DBE News. Let's start here. Government remains committed to implementing interventions aimed at improving the social and economic lives of South Africans. This was said by Minister Angie Motshekga at a media briefing held on Thursday in Pretoria. Minister Motshekga was joined by the Minister of Health, Dr. Joe Phaahla, at a media conference focusing on the work of the social cluster and human development. She said the Department of Public Works has handed over 14 properties for use as shelters for victims of gender-based violence. At the same time, the minister said government would accelerate the issuing of title deeds in the country as a way of restoring dignity to South Africans.
First, conscientize our learners or our student community, strengthening our life orientation to make sure that children also appreciate and understand what bullying is. And we've been on road shows with the deputy minister leads that to really even enlighten kids to say a joke that is hurtful is not a joke. It is bullying. And just make them aware and raise consciousness amongst learners. But it doesn't end there, especially when it comes to adults, because there's lots of blackmail, there's fear and all sorts of things. That's where we're talking about Let's Talk campaign, where again children are supported or assisted to really talk when they are bullied, because the bullies don't do it openly. They won't bully, so they are going to do it privately, blackmail and other things. But also more important is to get not only learners and teachers speaking or talking, but also the parents.
In other news, the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative in the basic education sector has been a great success. Phase 1 of the initiative was successfully implemented from the 1st of December 2020 to the 31st of April 2021. Approximately 300,000 young people participated. While the second phase, which comes to an end in March, has seen the department provide employment to over 287,000 youth between the ages of 18 and 35. The department held a workshop on the initiative, and our reporter, Robinson Ngola, was there and filed this report.
The Presidential Youth Employment Initiative has managed to deliver over 850,000 jobs and opportunities to young people in the country during Phase 1 and 2. This was announced at a 2-day workshop hosted by the Basic Education Department, looking into the successes and the challenges of the program.
So this opportunity has also been an opportunity to innovate, to experiment, to do things differently, in the hope that the ways we're doing things differently will become embedded in the system going forward. So I'm going to reflect very briefly on your program. You can tell me far more about the program than I can tell you. So I'm just going to focus on a couple of things that I think it's worth highlighting. Firstly is the remarkable level of scale. And we don't want to lose that. And I know that there is something of a tension between the duration of the employment for participants and the number of participants who can be employed in terms of the design of the program. We recognize that it's a tension, but at the same time, the scale you've been able to achieve has just been so remarkable. Also really remarkable about this program, a unique feature, is the spatial equity. It is hard to reach every corner of the country in just 6 weeks of the announcement of the program. You could do it because there are schools in every community in the country. So this program has had a remarkable distributional effect. We've been able to reach every corner. Also, it's a distributed system, 22,000 plus schools, which means that I hope that for each school, it has not been overwhelming to take on these school assistants. 10, 20 school assistants, schools have been able to absorb that into their existing systems without it crashing the system. And that's because it's such a dispersed, distributed system. And that's what's enabled the level of scale.
Various provinces made presentations on how the initiative worked in their schools. The Eastern Cape province says the issue of payments of the education and general assistance has been resolved and hopes that there will be a third phase of the initiative as it had a direct investment on skills development. Meanwhile, the Free State has hailed the project despite some challenges.
We love the project because it has brought confidence to our EAs or our assistants, and also it helped them to be able to take care of their household responsibilities, and it is indeed a successful project, and we wish that the project could continue. And as the Free State, we also wish that the project could continue for a longer period, so maybe a period of a year, so that it brings about, especially when we come into training, it brings about more solid and accredited certificates, so that at least when our EAs leave the project or they are finished with the project, they have certificates that they can show that they indeed participated in a more solid project.
And in Gauteng, the province has hailed the work done by the general and education assistants in schools. They've also spoken about the importance of the project.
Of the feedback that we are getting from the different schools, the schools are very happy that they have that kind of assistance, especially now that the learners are 100% back at school. But the greatest challenge that we have, we would have loved to offer the schools more numbers, but crowding the schools with assistance would not necessarily assist in dealing with the pandemic, given that you still have the social distance and all those things to control. But they have been seen to be very helpful, especially your EAs, where they assist with curriculum-related matters. And our e-cadres are not only used for IT, they're also used to assist with admin at the school. And that is also helping the schools to deal with the challenges that they have, where in the past they did not have that challenge.
The Mpumalanga province says training offered to education and general assistants will help them in the future.
We ran projects in terms of training. We have trained the assistants, those who are in the handyman. 779 have been trained on theory, and they are currently doing practicals. It's an accredited training. We also have trained sports. We have trained 1,602 for sports enrichment agents, and those are ready. They are back to schools. We intend to get the 1,602 to be trained on another part, but we are considering, if time allows, we want to train them on the next module. So far, the benefits that these learners will be getting from the training will not be when they assist schools only, but it will be utilized for them. When they go out of the project, they will have knowledge, they will have skills, they will have passion, and that they can go and utilize on their own outside.
Vanessa Moodley, principal of Actonville Primary School, has described the education and general assistance as unique and says they have brought a different feel to education.
I think the Educator Assistant Program was a real plus for the school, a positive enhancement of the entire school's initiatives and functioning. And at Actonville Primary we have a values program, we have our reading champions, we have our sport, and they have gone into every aspect of the workforce. They do the reading champions during the reading period on a Friday. They have a 1 hour program. They also engage with the values program, which is used as a form of discipline because there is no corporal punishment. And I think the children are taking to them in terms of learner support. The learners go up to them and look up to them, or look up to the assistants as being their first form of support, even before the teacher now.
But let's now hear from some of the education assistants from Actonville Primary School on the work they've done.
The programs we have done, we've done Human Rights Day with the children, we've done Heritage Day and Freedom Day.
And we are also doing the reading championship with our kids. We're assisting them with support, assisting them with reading, and we are assisting our teachers with everything that they need to be assisted.
We've also had a pad drive for the young girls at the school where we collected the pads and we donated it to them. We have taught them about personal hygiene and menstrual health. We've also done activities will you cut that out? Okay. We've also done activities that are based and surrounded on our school values, which include love, peace, right action, non-violence.
The presidency is pleased that the program was able to assist amid high unemployment figures in the country. Robinson Ngola, reporting for DBE News in Johannesburg.
Coming up, we go to Hoërskool Jan Viljoen in Randfontein as Gauteng Education MEC Panyazeli Sufi meets with parents.
I am a nurturer, like you.
Real men stand against gender-based violence.
Make it part of the new normal for young boys to be nurtured and loved, to freely express themselves and to show love in a safe, inclusive way. We have different gender identities, but first, we are human. If you need assistance to help your child, contact Childline on 08000 55 555.
Our purpose is to ensure that we deliver quality education and save our children from the trauma of racism. We will not breed new racists in this school. We will never tolerate any form of racism, regardless of where it comes from.
Gauteng Education MEC Panyazeli Sufi has had a meeting with the parents of Hoërskool Jan Viljoen. This follows allegations of racism at the school. He's given the parents feedback of other meetings that he had with the learners, with the teachers, and the school management and the school governing body of Hoërskool Jan Viljoen. He says he is encouraged by what he was told, that transformation is needed and that there is a need for diversity within the school.
What is very important was that the educators said, we are here to provide love, we are here to provide teaching, and we are here to be parents, and we love all our children. However, where there are incidents that are taking place within the classroom, it's our ability to understand the context in which these incidents are taking place. Simply put, they also felt they need assistance. They need support to manage diversity, and they need support to manage the new environment that they find themselves in, where there are children that they've not taught before, and these children are inside their classroom. But what they emphasized, which is something that I'm taking, is that Jan June is a functional school. We might have problems, but we are a functional school that is struggling to manage diversity and that is going through a transitional process. And therefore, they feel they need support. They reaffirmed to this point, racism has no room in their school. That themselves, they will do everything to confront racism. I went ahead to meet with our learners. It was a difficult exercise. It was a painful exercise. It was an exercise that till today I regret, but I appreciate it. It was an exercise that we must never, never again expose our children to that kind of a situation where our children are scared to come to school, where our children feel they are unwanted, that they are third-class citizens in this particular school, where they feel their ancestral calling are called to be demonic, where they feel if they speak a certain language that others don't understand, they are told to stop speaking that language, where they feel they can't even play their own music in their own school, where they also feel that the color of their skin will determine the kind of education or support they will get from their educators. I want to declare it now. It must never happen. I want to declare it to the leadership of this school. We don't want to be reminded where we come from, because where we come from is painful.
Parents were then given the opportunity to vent some of their concerns, and this is what has been said.
Parents, what happened, happened. We can't undo it. And one thing that I'm 100% sure in my mind is it wasn't racial. It was kids. This is kids attending a school. Kids that want to learn. Kids that want to become something in life. Ladies, gentlemen, yes, there's a lot of errors. There's a lot of errors, and I don't decline it. But please bear with me. Parents, don't make this thing a racial or a political thing, please. Because this is not what it is. This is kids. This is our kids. This is mine and yours. This is our school. This is our teachers. This is our government body who's supposed to look after our kids. We want them to be safe. That's all we ask. Doesn't matter race or color. Parents, we should stand together.
I'm strongly about racism in the younger generation because they grow up with it. But I'm also strong against racism when it comes from our governing body, our MEC, or whoever it is. Mr. Lesufi had a meeting with learners. He didn't interview one white learner. Yeah. No. We mustn't be racist in this. What's good for the one is good for the other. Did he intervene? Did he interview any of the white parents? No. You can say what you want to. It's a free country. It's my right to ask this. We trust him as an MEC. But the leader against racism must start by them. You can't include students, but half of the students is excluded based on color. That's not right. What would have happened if he done it to the whites and he didn't interview the blacks? What do you think would have happened? So let's think about that. I say here today, let's stop making this racism allegations until the case has been heard.
My child, when they were coming here for induction, when he came home, he said, I was very disturbed. We were divided into white and blacks. in an industrial. This is structural racism. So it's not just happening because if the teachers are all white, it is the structure of the school that is permitted this. So all I'm saying is, let's acknowledge that we have done mistakes and move away from them. Let's not point fingers at other people. The last thing I just want to say, people, please, Menier Panyaza, I don't know, I think he's a man of steel. It's difficult really to talk like that when there is such challenges that are happening. All I'm asking is the parents, let's come together and go to the school and sit down and address the issues of our children.
Mamello last time, MEC, was thrown by a chair. This is one reason that I am so mad at this whole behavior in this school. And she came to me, I then said to her, because I'm a politician, go to school. The second time, I have my own way of disciplining my kids, but that is not physical. So if anyone goes physical with my kids, I retaliate. And I retaliate very hard. So the other one, MEC, we cannot come here and not request for a name change here and fail you. The name must change, and change as in yesterday.
But I want to say this to parents, to all parents. Until we, as the adults, we take a good look at ourselves, we face the hard truths. What our kids are doing today is a reflection on us, what we teach them in our homes. We need to be truthful about that until we are ready to face that and say, how our kids behaving out there is what we teach them in our homes. We will never get solutions, so we need to be straight and forward. If my child goes out there and be racist to another child, is what I teach them in my house. If my child goes out and be rude to a teacher, is what I teach in my house. So, MEC, I don't want to prolong this and mix it. I just got two questions that I have. What is the plan to the school management to fix and balance the representation of teachers? We need to have across spectrum in all phases. We're talking we need to have a balance of female teachers and male teachers, black teachers, colored teachers, the representation of everybody that is here. That's what we want to see in school.
An investigation is currently underway at the school, and the MEC, Panyaza Lisufi, saying that anyone who's been alleged of any form of discrimination will be investigated.
You can say whatever about racism. We believed in non-racialism even before we saw non-racialism because we know the pain of racism. That pain, we don't want to extend it to any other person. You can think our commitment to non-racialism is a demonstration of stupidity. You can think our commitment to non-racialism is because we are fools. We are not. But don't stretch our patience, because that patience is not forever. We want to truly build, and there's one gentleman, I think you are the last person, you raised an issue about the SGB investigating themselves. You were correct, but your last statement was not correct. You can't come here and threaten violence. We must not do that. So, the SGB is not going to investigate themselves. The SMT is not going to investigate themselves. The district is not going to investigate. I've appointed, and I'm happy that the South African human rights have agreed. The South African human rights will investigate everyone from Rocco to Rocco Mama or whoever in this particular school. So there is an independent body that is going to investigate everyone. And I'll come to you with their final report. And if the final report say MEC act, let me tell you, I will not only act, but I will act decisively.
Schooling has resumed at Hoërskool Jan Viljoen, and there is a hope that things will somehow start to change. I am Tsegohajo Moagi reporting for DBE TV News in Randfontein.
I hate it when someone violates me, like you.
In a violent situation, there is power in walking away. I will not take part in fights at school.
Make it part of the new normal for young boys to be nurtured and loved, to freely express themselves and to show love in a safe, inclusive way. We have different gender identities, but first, we are human. If you need assistance to help your child, contact Childline on 08000 55 555.
Welcome back. We end our bulletin on a sad note this week. The Mpumalanga Education Department is mourning the loss of 9 learners who died on their way back home from school. The minibus they were traveling in lost control and overturned, leading to their untimely deaths. The department has offered ongoing psychological counseling to the families, learners, and the teachers. The learners were all buried on Thursday, the 24th of February. Meanwhile, in the Eastern Cape, the Education Department has expressed grief after the bodies of 2 learners were retrieved from the Swartkops River. It's understood the boys, 11-year-old Jerome Kawi and Corne Busak, who was 12, were swimming in the river with friends. According to police and reports, the 2 boys allegedly got stuck in the river during their excursion. The Eastern Cape Education Department will be providing psychological support to the families and friends. That's how we end this bulletin this week on Channel 122 on OpenView on YouTube and on BRICS TV Channel 509 Starset. But before we go, the Department of Basic Education has noted with concern disruptive behavior in some schools, with videos showing learners dancing on roofs, next to cars and other objects. We have seen images of learners bringing different kinds of items to school as opposed to the normal school bags. The department discourages any behavior that goes against the spirit of order and discipline. We wish to remind learners to accept that the main reason for being in school is to learn and develop academically, socially, and culturally, adhere to social rules, respect the legitimacy and authority of teachers. Learners are therefore urged to avoid any antisocial behavior like theft, vandalism, assault, bullying, sexual harassment, alcohol and drug abuse, as well as other activities that disrupt the learning process. From myself, Tsegohajo Moagi, and the team, thank you for watching.